Module 1. Why Fall Protection? Falls are a major safety hazard for many workers during their daily activities. Per the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, falls are the leading cause of death in construction, and they've consistently ranked only second to automobile accidents overall for all industries. In 2017, there were 887 fall fatalities in the United States, which works out to 2 every day across the country. OSHA states these deaths are preventable. Employers must set up the workplace to prevent employees from falling off overhead platforms, elevated workstations, or into holes in the floor or walls. Fall protection is a broad term that is used to describe various types of policies, such as when protection is needed and what type will be permitted, systems, with an example being the basic guardrail, and equipment, like a full-body harness and a connecting device that is selected especially for certain situations and is customized to the worker. These policies, systems, and equipment encompasses the steps that companies take to meet the wide array of exposures that workers confront. Even falls of limited distance can lead to significant consequences. A 1-foot fall off a ladder, for example, can produce forces of more than 2,000 pounds on the body part that first contacts the ground. That is, quite literally, a ton of force. A drop of several feet could be lethal. This reinforces the need for proper equipment, which could reduce your risk. Case study, Jacksonville, Florida. Jerry Garrett was a Navy pilot with dreams of flying commercial jets. For Jerry, that is no longer a possibility. There are days when I hate this chair, says Garrett. A construction accident put the 22-year Navy veteran in a wheelchair. It was an accident, he says, could have been prevented. I slipped on some scaffolding and fell not very far, really. In Jerry's case, it was 13 feet. Jerry was working in construction to make extra money. It was his first day on the job, and the scaffolding he was on was not up to code. They didn't comply with OSHA in 12 different regards, says Garrett's attorney, Charles Sorensen. Jerry can't feel anything below his waist. It's just learning to live with my disability. Before I couldn't sit still for 3 minutes. Now, I have to sit all of the time. To address this and other hazards in the workplace, the federal government established the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. The most basic responsibility of this organization is to both create and enforce laws relating to health and safety in the workplace. Because Congress put the responsibility of protecting America's workers on OSHA, it published a large set of responsibilities and rights for employers and their employees to accomplish this mission. OSHA places its regulations into categories that apply to the type of work that is being done on a particular type of job site. As the first example, it publishes its laws for industrial establishments such as factories, mills, power plants, and warehouses, and the Code of Federal Regulations under the reference number 1910. We will call it the 1910 book for short. Here, we find chapters within the book that are called subparts, and although there are subparts that span from the letters A to Z and beyond, our focus here is on letters D and I. Subpart D is called Walking Working Surfaces, and it states that all work that takes place at a height of more than 4 feet above a lower level, whether it be the ground below roof edge, the shop floor under a piece of machinery, or many other locations where a worker may need to ascend to perform a job, fall protection of some form is required. Anytime a worker will need to wear a personal fall arrest harness for protection, Subpart I, another section to this rule, must be consulted. OSHA also has a subpart for construction activities, this time M in the 1926 rules. This would include all new construction activities, such as building a house or skyscraper, but also includes coverage for major alterations of already existing structures. The major obvious difference is that here the activation is 6 and not 4 feet. Not surprisingly, OSHA has taken note of the extent of the issue with falls and has made reducing their levels a top priority. In a recent summary of the most common rules violations for which OSHA has issued citations, fall protection came out on top. The 2 most common violations are typically those where workers are found to be unprotected, working above one of OSHA's activation heights, or where workers are in such a situation but have not been properly trained. OSHA requires that all employees who might be exposed to fall hazards shall be enabled to recognize the hazards and be trained on proper procedures to follow. Because work at heights is so common, it should come as no surprise that violations tied to it make up 4 of the top 10 overall in this recent OSHA list.